let's talk shoulder connection because it's a really nuanced thing in Pilates, and I think that it's easy to get caught in hearing a common cue but not necessarily knowing what we're looking for with that. So the thing about your shoulder connection in Pilates is that we're trying to move out of the habit of only or over relying on, I should say, the trapezius muscles that kind of run through all of this upper back business. And learning to use both the pectoral muscle and everything that kind of hangs out in your armpit and your side body to support your shoulder joints' fullest range of motion. So we're not thinking anymore that it's always a pulling back or a shoving down, because that does weird stuff to your shoulder blades, and I don't know about you, but it doesn't feel so hot in my body. So I like to think of this as a good thing to practice holding a dowel or, I don't know, a broomstick in between your hands out in front of you, roughly shoulder height or slightly lower if that better enables you to come out of this neck connection. So first of all, with your hands closed around the bar, maybe your thumbs come with your fingers, so we're not trying to find the same kind of torque feeling from the inside of your hand. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and then lift them towards your ears. Take a couple, maybe 5, 3, 4, 5. When my shoulders settle back down, I'm gonna think about finding a little bit of connection in between my shoulder blades on my back. This hand needs to move in a little. There we go. Now I'm gonna think about maybe pulling the bar apart slightly with my hands, as if I was gonna pop it in half. Okay, I can feel that, but that gets me real necky real fast. So the next option to try is with your hands out in front of you, feel like a 30% Wonder Woman who's gonna break the bar in half. It's the pinky side of the fingers almost rotating down and in, but they don't actually go there. You have a bar between your hands. So finding, oh, I get a little curve, good. I'm kind of mobile in my elbows, so I'm gonna make sure that the bendy inside part is roughly looking at each other. And now I can play with finding more and less connection, both in my serratus, kind of underneath my armpit, and in between my shoulder blades. But the thing is that this only takes us so far, because if you pull your shoulders back and they're connected down-ish, your arm does really well on the way down. But what happens to your arm on the way up? I was working with someone with way more accreditation than I have, and one of the things she pointed out was that your shoulder to about 90 degrees of a lift doesn't require a whole lot of like scapular movement. Most of us maybe have like 10 to 20 degrees additional that you can lift without the shoulder blade coming up. But for your arm, or your hand rather, to get any higher than that, the shoulder blade goes with. Like, that's how arms work. So trying to lift an arm overhead but shove your shoulder blade down does a whole lot of strainy things, pardon my Billy Idol sneer of discomfort. But what if, when I took my hands out and overhead, I still found a gentle pull down while also reaching my arms long? I can't do this for very long without tiring myself because it's not something I do every day. However, it's really useful if you take some of these thoughts and then lay down, because it'll give you a slightly different experience in that when you pull your shoulder blades back or towards each other, you have a little bit more sensation of what's going on in between the shoulders. As you open your arms out to the side, you become more aware of the fact that your shoulder blades, ideally, move towards and away from your spine for this to happen. And that if you're gonna make circular motions, different things have to happen depending on what way you turn your palms, how your shoulder's feeling that day, if you're making small circles, if you're making big circles. Yeah, so essentially all I'm trying to tell you is that your shoulder connection is dynamic, but overall, think of it as something that is connected to your body so that all of your side body muscles, all of those muscles on the back side of your shoulder can help support what you're doing. This might change the angles of your movements for a while, and that's okay. Anyway, that's the shoulder connection in a nutshell.